All right, let's talk about something we all have to face at some point. What do you do when you fail? This is a story about resilience, yeah, but it's also about how sometimes the most incredible wisdom comes from the last place you'd ever expect to find it.
I mean, come on, who hasn't? You hit that wall, the road ahead just looks impossible, and quitting feels like, well, like the only sensible option left. If you've ever been in that spot, this story is for you.
So, our story kicks off with a young guy named Rehan, and it's a classic tale, really. It's about a huge, beautiful dream that's about to slam right into the cold, hard wall of reality. So, let's meet Rehan. He grew up in a small town, simple background, but he had this massive, burning ambition. He was totally inspired by those stories of people who built empires from absolutely nothing. He truly believed that if he just worked hard enough, he could change everything. So, while he's still in school, he takes his first big leap. You know what's so striking about this timeline? It's just how fast everything fell apart. Rehan poured his heart and soul into these handmade wallets, but that dream turned sour, and it turned sour fast. The market was just way too competitive, and within a single year, the whole thing collapsed, taking every single penny he had saved right along with it. Losing the money? Yeah, that was painful. But honestly, it was nothing compared to the emotional weight of it all. This is where the real fight begins. Not out there in the marketplace, but inside his own head. Can you just imagine hearing this from your own dad? He's saying it gently, out of love and worry. But for Rehan, those words just land with the weight of total defeat. It feels like even his own family doesn't believe in him anymore. He was just utterly broken. His friends started to get awkward and avoid him. He could hear people whispering behind his back. And the worst part? He started to believe them. That hope that had driven him for so long just vanished.
And this right here, this is rock bottom. Lying awake at night, this one thought just echoing over and over in his mind. A little whisper that was about to extinguish that fire inside him for good. But you know how it goes. Just when he's ready to completely surrender, a totally random encounter is about to change his entire perspective.
So Rehan is just wandering through a park, feeling lost, and he sees this old gardener just relentlessly slamming his shovel into the ground. And the earth looks impossible. It's dry, it's hard, it's cracked. So Rehan, totally confused, walks over and asks him, "Hey, why don't you just wait for it to rain? It'll soften the ground." And the gardener's logic here is just so brilliant. It really boils down to two different ways of facing a problem. You can be passive, you can wait for the conditions to be perfect, which, let's be honest, might be forever. Or you can be active. You can keep working because you know that progress happens with every single attempt you make. And in that moment, it was like a light switch flipped on in Rehan's brain. It all just clicked. He realized he had stopped digging. He was just sitting around waiting for things to get better, waiting for the pain to go away, instead of actually doing something about it. That one simple piece of advice became the seed for a whole new strategy. This was the real beginning of his comeback. So he goes home, right? Not with some magic fix, but with this totally renewed sense of purpose. He makes this simple, powerful promise to himself, and he writes it down. 3 words. This is his new foundation. And what's so crucial here is that this time it's completely different. It's not just about blind hard work anymore. This time, he's working smart. He actually learns from his past failures. He starts small, so the risk is manageable. He listens to every bit of feedback. And most importantly, he just keeps going. And whenever those old doubts started to creep back in, whenever he felt that urge to just quit again, this became his mantra. The gardener's words were the fuel that kept him going, especially on those really slow, discouraging days. So, through all this effort, all this persistent digging, Rehan finally uncovers the true meaning of his entire journey. He has this fundamental shift in his thinking. He realizes his whole perspective on failure was just wrong. It wasn't the enemy. It wasn't the end of the story. It was actually a necessary ingredient, a stepping stone on the path to success. Years later, now a successful entrepreneur himself, this is the wisdom he shares with young people. He frames every single struggle not as a punishment, but as preparation. Each failure,
Each setback is just digging the ground so that your roots can grow deeper and stronger.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important takeaway from this whole story. That moment when you feel the most like giving up, that is so often the moment right before you're about to have a breakthrough. The ground is always hardest right before you strike water. So the next time you feel like quitting, just ask yourself this one question. What if you're just one more swing of the shovel away?